Welcome to Sad Boys, a podcast about feelings and other things. Also, I'm Jarvis.
I'm Jordan. Good
Does
news.
my voice sound normal?
Sounds cool.
What's the
That's
what's the good
insulting.
news?
I shouldn't have said. I didn't mean like you're not normally cool.
I think you sound a little not raspy,
Just a little rat. I don't feel like I'm like losing my voice because I haven't. No, I feel good.
But it's like you maybe like didn't sleep much last night or something.
Okay.
You're like a pony, a little
I was
horse.
up late playing Magic the Gathering. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Who's this?
It's from remember from freaking South Park.
I love
that guy, dude.
dark comedy.
That guy from that stuff. Respect my authority.
Yes, different character, but that is really
respect
cool. You've seen the show.
Turn off.
Come on, you've seen it. You know that.
Freaking turn off my body cam.
God, man. I guess I have not seen the episode, but that sounds pretty
Yeah, it's pretty dark. Yeah, it's
Did
pretty
you
dark.
ever?
So, like, they say, like, how do you kill that which has no life?
Oh, turn off my body game.
It's about world of RuneScape.
Oh man, did you ever have a very unironically would state? Yeah, I have kind of a dark sense of humor.
No, I don't think I ever even considered that I like dark humor.
That was never
I was
like
so
a brand
obsessed
you
with
tried
just
on?
being funny in whatever form was going to make the
chameleon.
people around me laugh.
Yes, okay.
And so that's how and that's why I started imitating Family Guy characters, because that was a shortcut to comedy as a middle schooler.
And then you find yourself in the dark humor. Even the term dark humor now is like so incredible. Like it's only ironic. It's only a joke term. But there definitely was a period of time where that was like
Anthony Jeselnik, I feel like the start of his career was dark humor unironically, because he'd like tweet something at like it would be like a horrible atrocity happened, and then he'd like get a joke off about it, and people would be like,
wow,
how can you do that? But there was this whole like shtick.
Whereas now it's like, oh yeah, of course you can do it. That's now the normal thing to do.
He was kind of the first rage baiter.
Yes, very successfully.
I mean, not the first, but you know what I mean.
I mean, he's one of those cases where like you can actually make a case for, oh, well, this was him joking because it's not been reflected in his like behavior.
He does seem like a nice guy, and he seems like a pretty self-aware guy,
as opposed to like a lot of this guy's so funny. Ricky Gervais is joking a lot about trans people. Okay, I guess he's just being edgy, and oh no, he seems to believe these things.
It is a little bit too like discovering that it almost feels like he discovered a cheese strategy.
Yes.
In a fighting game.
He clipped in the corner and
then he was like, oh, wow, I'm actually getting lots of like high rank wins with this cheese strat. But then he realized how easy the cheese strat was to implement, and then was like, this isn't actually this is not actually helping my core skills at the game.
And this is now the meta. Everyone's playing this character.
And now this is the meta, so I now need to go off meta to have fun again.
Need a little bit of honor in it, you know?
Because I think he has like a podcast or something where he's like kind of nice.
I
actually don't know what he's up to.
I don't associate him with that anymore. But I also just don't really know what that is anymore. Like, what is the...
It's the roast comedy. I didn't watch that.
That shit's unbearable.
You watched it?
I dabbled in the clips. I saw it in rotation.
Was it Kevin Hart roast?
Yeah, Kevin Hart roast with
I know
Epic
Zay
Burns
watched it. I also feel like just like the comedy window is always moving, and it's always a reflection of the current like moment. And we live in a constantly making jokes about killing yourself time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is like a dark humor that is now table stakes.
Yeah, I feel like the expectations for what you can even say at a roast, like, well, so Kevin Hart, maybe not the strongest target because a huge portion of his career is predicated on like, I'm a short, stupid guy, and I'm silly, and it's like, what is the joke? It can't be that he's short. We can't do that anymore. There's nothing to that anymore.
There's got to have been short. Were there short jokes?
It's almost exclusively. It was tons of short jokes, tons of like. But that's the thing is that's pretty much where the precision went away. It's like he's short. Okay, well that's observable, and that's the joke. And then everything else is like the most biting stuff in the whole thing was when is it Chelsea Handler? Am I mixing? No.
Chelsea Handler.
Was it Chelsea Handler was on it? Because I'm about to accuse them of something. So
she was on it.
Yeah, it was a Chelsea Handler beefing with hilarious comedian, Tony Killzone, whatever the fuck his name is.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
Tony Hinchcliffe, ghoul, golem,
Hinchcliffe
zombie.
sounds like a tech in like a Call of Duty game. Like, oh yeah, to get up to the roof, you have to do a Hinchcliffe.
I'm running A and throwing util.
I'm calling zone. Okay, Hinchcliffe.
Oh, we'll get him next time. But like he obviously told a lot of epic jokes, like what if a baby exploded, like really epic stuff.
Okay.
And then she was beefing with him and Shane Gillis, who structurally as a comic I think is funny. It's a lot of misses for me lately, or in that last special. I did watch his last special.
I haven't seen his last special, but in general, I mean, he's obviously a funny guy.
It's just like not a lot to. It's not like funny and like, oh, that's a well observed thing that he's making funny. It's more in like this guy is very in person funny because he carries himself in a funny way.
And I think that is like a cool, like I think that is something to be admired. Is how do you transfer that fun? Because like I think of Kevin Hart, like Kevin Hart obviously was successful as a comedian and did like arenas and stuff with comedy, which is a whole different. That feels like more of a musical performance,
yes,
like than comedy, because like it's a different vibe. It feels like the comedy comes from a different place. But I've always thought of Kevin Hart as like an energy comedian. Where it's like it's based in very similar to like
he's
Dane
a conductor,
Cook. Yeah, Dane Cook I felt was an energy comedian too.
Oh yeah, quite literally.
It'd be shapes and sounds and not so much like structural jokes.
It is like a little bit like how people will be like, wow, this person's funny, they should do stand up, or this person does stand up, they should host a podcast. Like the rotation of transferable funniness being kind of a myth, where it is more just like independent skills that can correlate, does for arena stuff what this person's really funny in The Office, they should do as in the show The Office. They're such a good comedic actor, they should probably do stand-up.
Yeah, it's like Dwight doing stand-up at an arena. Like, what would that even be?
Short.
Jim putting the audience in jello.
Looking left and right at different cameras around the arena.
Oh my God.
Puffing out his cheeks.
That almost feels like something. There's something there. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it was not solid, but I did not know some of the things they were saying about Chelsea Handler, and that she's proactively Zionist.
Oh.
And she also attended a dinner with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh.
Can we triple check this is Chelsea Handler?
Well, I do.
She was there, but there's more white women. And
we should triple check, but I do think you're right, by the way.
Yeah, if we said Shane Gillis, Chelsea Handler would be like the first thing. Doing the Zionist so-and-so. Which was like, that got a decent pop because that is like an observed thing. Like Shane Gillis was just saying it, and part of the joke was, isn't that crazy? Because it is a thing no one's talking about.
That is pretty funny.
That like
also just worked. Not even delivering it as a joke.
It's good. That worked. And then like, I mean, I barely even saw any of the jokes. Again, I was just watching the clips, but I didn't see any of the jokes about Kevin Hart because I just don't think there's that much to observe.
I do think it's funny the splash damage in these roasts, because for whatever reason you're just roasting everyone else also.
Yeah, you do the rotation.
You're doing like, it feels like you're doing like support, like AoE, and like you're like charging your ult, but you have to charge your ult by doing auto attacks to like all of the other people.
Everything's on. You have a different cooldown for each person. You have to like hit Cat Williams with a cooldown, so you have enough time to go up to Jocelyn. Yeah, he does sound like he's taking poison damage.
That's Cat Williams taking damage. KO. So the NBA finals are upon us. Almost. So it's funny because
when this comes out,
well, no, it's just that the New York Knicks have played like close to the fewest possible games to be in the NBA finals, because they've just like done a bunch of consecutive sweeps. So,
did you know that Karl Anthony Towns on the New York Knicks has not lost a basketball game since he was in Devil Wears Prada 2?
I do know this because I'm on NBA Twitter, but otherwise, Karl Anthony Towns of the New York Knicks
does a cameo
in Devil Wears Prada 2.
Replaced Meryl Streep
with Anne Hathaway and
as himself.
And yeah, people kept tweeting like Karl Anthony Towns is now 6-0 since talking to Anne Hathaway in Devil Wears Prada 2. Karl Anthony Towns is now 7-0 and now he's 8-0 because it was like they had 2 back-to-back sweeps. And the thing is, the NBA basketball. Okay,
it's the middle of the letter.
You have
ball, orange round
goes in hoop. Good.
Not as heavy as it looks.
Not in hoop. Bad.
A lot of air in the ball. In case anybody's
Mostly
wondering,
air.
it's heavy.
Yeah, and it bounces from all the pressure in the rubber.
Not forever. You cannot bounce it forever. It will eventually get damaged. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, it'll just run out of air.
You can't do it for like 80 years. It will run out of air.
Yeah, I mean, not even. You have much less time before the pressure goes down. But also, if it sits, the pressure, like the air slowly leaks out. But anyway, so just for people who are not familiar, because I'm going to try to make this as accessible as possible, because you actually don't need to know anything about the sports, but I want to give you a little bit of the vegetables inside of the pasta. You know, I just ate pasta right a second ago, so all my metaphors are going to be pasta related.
Anyway,
so one
twisty
important part of
turny
the
spaghetti style.
So a tagliatelle. The way that the NBA postseason works, or the NBA season really, is that you've got an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference. And the teams on the East and the West are mostly competing amongst themselves for ranking. And then when it comes to the playoffs, it's like 2 sides of a bracket almost. And they are heading towards the finals. So if you're in the East, you have the Eastern path to the finals. You play against Eastern teams and you go to the Eastern Conference Finals. And if you win the Eastern Conference Finals, boom, there you are in the NBA Finals representing the East. And then the NBA Finals representing the West is the same thing on the Western side. So the New York Knicks, they just won their 2 series. They won all their series, but the last 2 series that they won, they completely swept, and they are now in the finals. But the way that these games work is it's it's a first of 4, so it's best of 7. The fewest number of games you can play is 4, which means you have you've exerted the minimal amount of like energy, and you have the maximum amount of time to rest. You would want to do that if you could, but usually the other team's putting up a fight and they don't want to lose the game, so they try to win the game.
Yeah, you might be thinking, oh, that's what I do.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things that gets in the way is the other team.
The other team wants to get in the way of that.
They almost always want you to lose. They
actually want that as well, some would argue.
Which you could say is kind of a conflict of interest.
Yeah. Conflict of interest, if you just take those words, conflict of interest. These teams are interested in basketball and they're having a conflict over it by having a game of basketball.
Yes, which really, is that ethical?
Conflict of interest sounds like a sports rom-com.
Oh yeah, conflict of interest.
Actually, conflict of interest is a business rom-com about a quirky salesman who's trying to get a leg up in his business.
Played by Karl Anthony Towns. And then a badass business lady who's the top of her game. And rival teams.
Is love gonna get in the way of their big acquisition? It's gonna be a merger. It's gonna be the 2 companies are gonna merge or something like that.
That's also on the.
It's like Sandra
subtitle.
Bullock and Karl. I don't know why Sandra Bullock, but Sandra Bullock and Karl Anthony Towns, conflict of interest. Damn, that's good. Has there ever been a rom-com called Conflict of Interest?
Should we cut it from this episode so no one steals your idea?
No, go.
And we write it?
Please, fire away.
It just feels like the perfect crime.
Conflict of interest.
There's been 2 movies called Conflict of Interest.
I knew it.
Either of them rom-coms.
One was a 1993 film, Conflict of Interest, when Mickey returns to police force after a long hiatus. No, I don't think that's a rom-com.
And the other one's just about dividends or what?
And the other one is a true story about love, betrayal, and forgiveness reveals that family is God's most precious gift.
Okay, so I still feel like there's room for our big studio rom-com.
Rom-coms are back. The momentum is back. We could get Rob Patton there maybe if we're really ambitious.
Oh my God.
Tim, I think Tim Chow is officially out of our.
You know,
I feel like he
never
might
done a rom-com, and I want to see him in
I feel
one.
like 35-year-old Timmy is gonna be he's gonna just do a rom-com run where he's in like 9 of them.
Especially if we make it basketball.
It'll be like
themed.
Rachel McAdams in the 2000s.
We get basketball themed version.
I don't know how many rom-coms she was in. I know she was in Mean Girls, which is not a rom-com, but then she was in The Notebook right after that.
Well, let's look at.
She was in that rom-com with that guy. So she's been in at least a couple of them.
Send help. That's got some rom and com.
Hell yeah. Anyway, basketball. So Conflict of Interest, our new movie, is not what we're talking about today.
Can I just give a fun fact?
No.
If you win in 4 games,
No one listens to me.
That's a sweep. But if you win in 5 games, but the other team wins 1, that's called a gentleman's sweep.
It's like a
I
baker's
just think
dozen.
that's really fun. It's like, look, I'm a gentleman, so I'm not going to completely
game.
shame you.
It's like a JV.
It's a JV.
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, it's like a baker's dozen. You know, you have a little extra on the top. But
Thanks, Baker.
we're gonna come back to the Knicks, but I just have to say the West has been much more competitive in terms of like the back and forth. So the Spurs and OKC are 2-2 right now, entering Game 5.
And it's been a good series, and I think it will continue to be.
It's been
good
wacky,
series.
wild. I mean, Victor Wembanyama, my goat.
God, she's from California and he's from like upstate New York or something, and that's part of their cultural difference as well.
Wait.
This is
They're both
perfect.
generals of
The army.
militaries that are fighting against each other.
Yes, one of them. Oh my God, it's a civil war.
It's a civil war.
Yeah, wait a second.
It's a civil war in a post-apocalyptic future.
This is what happens when like studio notes come in and
Yeah,
like we
like,
had
we've kinda got 2 different movies going on.
This is a really cool idea. Is it possible this could be set in the Mad Max verse?
Okay, yeah, it's a period piece / Mad Max, Bridgerton,
Rom-com.
a Dunkirk type. Yeah.
Is there a non-sci-fi Andor that we could maybe throw on the
Okay,
table?
I see.
The Force is in it, but we have to call it the stuff.
Midichlorians are in it, and we have to call them mitochlorians.
Close one.
We have the rights to the recently deceased Dame Judi Dench's face.
Yes, we
Can
can.
we use it in this?
Oh, I thought you were telling us that we sad boys have those rights. And I was like, dude, we could use that for the Anastasia VTuber. We can make Anastasia Dame Judi Dench.
Oh my God, that's actually a good
That's
idea.
maybe not in good taste. But what is good taste is today's sponsor. Just kidding.
Check out the movie.
Was
though.
my lunch. So anyway, the East is set for the finals. The Knicks are in the finals, but the West is going to they're going to be alternating games for the next 3 days. So we'll know. The finals are in June.
But the West is representing the 49 remaining states after Sultan Mamdani seceded from the United States, obviously, to create the Muslimic Caliphate.
The Muslimic Caliphate of New York City.
New Islam. Scary.
I'm in a basketball chat where I think some people in there might not love that I'm in there because I keep saying that there's this corgi on.
You got to stop talking about the corgi.
What the fuck?
You got it. This is the 3rd time I've heard you bring up this damn corgi.
There's this corgi that predicted
Yes.
the series, and he's accurate.
The corgi was around last year too. The corgi's
Yes,
been
this
around the
corgi's
block.
good. This
Corgi's good.
And he predicted what's going to happen in this Spurs
No less
series.
accurate than any on-TV personalities for sports, if I'm honest.
Is he being Stephen A. Smith?
It
Though? That's
is
funny.
edited, so there's a chance that the corgi's owner
Is
just has him
editorializing.
do as many.
In fact, that's almost 100% what's happening.
Kind of a, I mean, I don't want to say it. Conflict of interest.
So
Thursdays on NBC.
yeah, we walk
But-
out in the green screen.
After every Spurs Thunder game, I say the corgi is still accurate in this group text, and no one hearts it.
Okay. Maybe get 1 thumbs up, no reply.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're like the Mayan calendar says.
How the fuck did we invite her?
How do they know about the Spurs? So the reason I wanted to bring up the Knicks, though, is because New York is having a renaissance, a Mamdani-sance. And
New York.
First of all, I want to talk about Timmy Chalamet. So Timothy Chalamet is a big New York Knicks fan, has been for, I assume, his whole life. There's like, you know,
He grew up in New York.
He grew up in New York, and there's old tweet records of him meeting Knicks players in like Grand Central Station. That's a new wait. Yeah, okay, sorry, I had brain fart. In Grand Central, I was like, that is where it was.
Or is that just
meeting
where Wonka was
basketball
set?
players that I couldn't even name and pick out in a lineup in Grand Central Station when he's like 10 years old.
He's like a basketball fan first and then an actor.
Yeah, he's.
the second.
I get it though, because like I've met people like him, and it's like if I would be like that if I was in his position.
Oh, yeah.
If I could be courtside, I'd be jumping up and down and high-fiving everybody.
I'd be being in the team.
It's how I look watching a Smash tournament. The few times I've been in person during a Smash event, I have been too nervous to say things most of the time.
Yeah, if you put me in like the
But I was popping off in person and being like, that's my guy.
If I was there and I sheepishly trying to dap up Zane and then missing.
Yeah.
Everyone
When
laughing at
J-Mook
me.
was having his run, I saw him play at like a Ludwig event, and I was like, my fucking G.
We're friends now. You don't know about that, but you and me.
The last time the Knicks were in the finals was in the 90s, and Timothée Chalamet was born in 98, 97, 96,
He's
95?
30, so 96, I'm guessing.
96.
Respect.
So yeah, basically since he was born. And there's this video of him that some people are clowning, but I actually think it's cute. And there's two things about it that I want to point out.
Short hair Timbo's a little weird.
Oh, really?
Nothing wrong with it.
I've only seen thirst posts about it. I'm on board.
It's a cool look. It's just kind of jarring.
I think he looks very young, and I think that's what
Looks like a
makes it
flashback.
jarring.
Yeah, this was posted by someone who's a wife, presumably of one of the players, and the concept of Timothée Chalamet being considered one of the wives and girlfriends.
Yeah.
of the Knicks.
Cute.
He's probably hitting a 0.5.
And so that's cute. And then they did tag him, which I also thought was funny. And then
Took him last.
oh yeah, so this video.
He looks like so much younger than he is in this video just because
Because
of
he has youthful
joy.
exuberance.
Yeah.
And I think that
It's great.
is a lesson that we de-age ourselves by loving things.
This is why people assume that we're like 19 or 20 most of the time.
Okay,
Probably
well.
just because of the youthful energy.
True.
Let me put my glasses on to see this, by the way. Dude, tears in his eyes.
Jalen Brunson.
Shortest player on the court. You can see because Timothée Chalamet is like the same height as him.
Timothée Chalamet,
And so
vaguest height of all time.
I
Question
can
mark?
say that he's probably about 6'1".
I think
Because he walked past me.
Jalen Brunson or Timothée Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet.
I know how tall he is because I just saw him hug Jalen Brunson and they were the same height, and I know how tall Jalen Brunson is.
I could see him now hug someone else that's like 5'8" and be the same height as. Like,
He's some more.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
He's extremely talented.
He does the like Mark Zuckerberg thing where he like stands in the right place in the frame to like look taller.
Now,
We don't
can
talk
you
about that
show-
anymore, but Mark Zuckerberg's like 5'7" or 5'6" or something, and he like does the thing that dictators do where they
Or
like
Lord of the Rings did.
yeah, or also force perspective. He literally does that to like make himself look taller in photos. We don't shame him enough.
That's such an odd. I wouldn't have thought that'd be a priority for him.
Oh, I mean, his image as a leader, though.
That's true. Yeah.
Jacob,
And
can
a
you show the
jiu-jitsu
second
master.
one that I sent you?
And I also love, and this is me being parasocial, that Kylie Jenner is excited for him also.
Yes, that is nice.
Because she goes to all the games with him, and I think that's very sweet.
Is Kylie the one that did the Pepsi ad?
No, that's Kendall.
Actually, I don't know who did the Pepsi ad.
Kendall did.
Do you think he knows he's famous?
Yeah.
MVP was decided weeks ago, by the way. So that's just for the love of the game. That's Karl Anthony Towns, who has not lost since talking to Anne Hathaway in a movie.
The two of them, of course, starring in a production that is coming up.
That's Mikhail Bridges.
Mikal Bridges, who eats Chipotle every day for the last 10 years plus and hasn't ever missed a game of basketball since he was in college.
Despite having permanent diarrhea from the
His
Chipotle.
Wikipedia, can we just look up Mikhail Bridges' wiki? His Wikipedia photo is so cute.
It is really funny. It is funny. Because normally, imagine like you're a professional athlete. Like, let's.
Wouldn't you want it to be you playing basketball in this?
Not even what do you want? He doesn't get to edit his page. I don't know how he got a selfie that he himself took as his photo.
That is, that's a Uber driver with 5 stars on the dot. Not 4.9, 20,000 trips, most likable guy in the world.
So cute.
Ask you about
Nicknamed
yourself.
the Warden. No one calls him
No
that.
one calls him that. What?
No one calls him that.
I'll take it.
Anyway, yeah, he's having not missed a game in his NBA career since being drafted. And him, Jalen Brunson, and Josh Hart all played on the same college team together.
Yeah.
And so they call it the Nova Knicks because Villanova. But that's a pretty crazy thing that never happens also. And they have a podcast.
I can't stop looking at the image.
If the Roommates podcast ever wants to collab,
We're busy.
I'm still rooting for the Spurs, I think. But you guys are cool.
Is this photo? It's just like a perfect Fibonacci sequence. Like everything's right.
It's golden
about it.
ratio, yeah. Anyway, he's shooting well for now.
Good idea on his part.
Yeah,
Another great idea.
Well, dude, I've heard. God, too many things about basketball to say. There's a lot of stuff to say about that, and I can't do it because I got to talk about Kylie Jenner, because Kylie Jenner is a person that I didn't think I had anything in common with. She's a billionaire, I think.
Yes, we are humble multimillionaires, unfortunately.
Okay, I did not. Have you been stealing the Patreon money?
Wait. No, I'm not. I burned all of the cash on conflict of interest.
Oh my God.
I had to buy the license for the name.
You've been here the whole time. How did you do that all on your phone?
I just got an update on it. I got scammed.
Oh no.
Sorry, that was me. I said I could license conflict of interest for you.
Oh my God, no. Anastasia's a multimillionaire.
That's like the movie Anaconda with Jack Black. His best friend says he can license the rights to remake Anaconda for his birthday, but
What?
he lied.
That's wild.
That's
I
the
had no
content
idea.
of that movie.
They go to the Amazon rainforest and jungle and river to film
Whole damn
that checks
the
out.
Anaconda movie.
And then they get...
I gotta watch this.
And then
movie,
there's a
I
real
guess.
big anaconda.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that's like the main place for him.
I remember. Okay, well, that's crazy.
Spoilers.
So Kylie Jenner was on a podcast with Jake Shane. Is that his name? That's what I was saying. Her best friend,
famed
Jake
red
Shane.
carpet interviewer.
Famed red carpet interviewer.
Target of hate.
I felt so bad. I went back around to rooting for him because I was like, damn, he's getting it pretty bad. I like this seat couch situation.
Interesting dynamic.
It is, it's like cheated out,
This must be what like being a Sad Boys guest feels like.
I guess.
In the chair, angled.
Yeah.
But there's no...
it does look nice on camera.
It does look nice on camera. It's funny to think about the practicality of it, but it does, yeah. Yeah, it works.
I'd have to adapt.
Imagine how much side ass you'd get though from this.
Kylie's giving side ass.
Yeah.
But when you're Kylie Jenner, everybody, no one complains.
Yeah.
No
I
one
think
complains.
that's
Not like when we're giving side ass.
When you're a couple of humble multimillionaires.
complaint?
Okay, stop
Side ass.
saying that because I want that money that we don't have.
Well, I'm lending it to a different account I have in Zurich.
I've seen your pay stubs. We're like, that's not Sad Boys money.
I'm thinking of a dream. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a dream.
Frickin' loon.
I'm thinking of a drawing I did.
I'm thinking of a drawing I did of money. Doing money spreads in my dreams.
Money spreads on a piece of A4 paper where I wrote a
Oh
billion.
my God. Doing money spreads on the weird shape of paper that the Zodiac Killer used because he didn't use A4 or 8.5 by 11.
He used like a different kind of legal.
I feel like they should have reached out to stationery store owners.
Staples like, We have a serial
the
killer.
weird paper? Yeah, we have a serial killer who keeps coming in and using this weird paper.
We have an enormous scary guy wearing a mask.
And he keeps it going, I gotta write my codes over and over again.
You're so silly. Get out of here.
Anyway, Kylie Jenner being relatable to me specifically, despite the fact that I didn't think this day would come.
Zelda's like one of the best games ever.
What's the premise?
Rated. Well, you are Link.
Okay.
Correct.
You are 100 years ago. Oh my god, I'm gonna sound like such a nerd.
That's okay.
100 years before you're playing the game. 100 years prior, there was like a big war happening on with all the
See, I'm mad at Jake Shane for
what are
laughing.
these called?
So this is the thing. I saw some tweets that were like, she's a thing that they call the Gandor. She's a fake fan. No, this is amazing to me. This is someone becoming a fan of something and wanting to engage with it.
And being willing to acknowledge that they're in the process. This is someone's third time at the gym, not
I think it's
willing
great.
to ask questions.
I don't think I'm more annoyed at Jake Shane laughing about it because I am projecting a judgment.
Yes.
But I'm like, I know Jake Shane is not judging Kylie Jenner right now. That cannot be happening.
I know it's not like as ubiquitous as it would be in our bubble or whatever, but like, what's the premise of Zelda?
I know.
I
know.
It's really one run down from Mario. Like, it's not Call of Duty.
I know.
And you're in what's the military?
The other thing is like, if you're in Hollywood, I mean, like Jake Shane's like a podcaster and does TikToks and stuff, but I'm like, look, man, hero's journey. It applies everywhere.
Come on, brother.
It applies everywhere. Dude.
I don't know. That to me, it's not. I don't think it's performative. I don't think it's like I have no idea because I think we're mostly past that. Like I don't know nerd stuff. I just don't know. It just feels like a little bit too crazy to. Also, kind of a wild question. To be fair. What is the premise of Zelda? Because if I wasn't talking about Breath of the Wild, I actually really would struggle to summarize
I certainly, I would start in a very different place because I would be like, oh, well, there's like a lot of them and the stories are different.
Which one specifically?
Like, what's the premise of Final Fantasy? Well, there's like a lot of fantasies.
Yeah, too many.
Too many fantasies. And it is not the final one, let me tell you. There's 17 of those shits.
Yeah, there's actually, I really don't know. She's done a much better job of summarizing it than, especially if somebody asks about lore or something about that I'm really into, I get paralyzed by the number of options and thoughts that come into my mind.
100%.
She was able to pretty healthily triage it down.
I think that's a healthy instinct to be unafraid to like make a mistake, to call the divine beast the fantastic beast. Like these are things that people could make fun of, but I actually think it's mirroring like the right behavior. And I am a fan of that behavior out in the wild. I think people should be unapologetically nerdy. They should be unapologetically enthusiastic about their interests. And obviously she's like feels the shame of, oh, I feel like I'm going to be such a nerd. But you can see that she's like more than anything else, she's like excited to do it. Because why? What reason? Like you gain. If I'm in this situation, I would be like, oh, we don't need to talk about that video game shit.
Yeah, actually,
I'd be like, I actually hate that
I
stuff.
don't know anything about that. What did you say? You said you love Zelda. You said that?
And I'd be like, oh no, but have you? Okay. Now listen.
If I was to say something about it,
The Master Sword is on a flying dragon.
it's like,
I do feel empathetic towards like her being like, I have to get this right.
Yeah.
When you go into a realm that's a little gatekeepy
Yeah.
and you make a mistake and people make you feel bad for that. Like,
Yeah.
I have
already-
been there so many times before.
It's the
slipped up by-
gatekeeping success. It's like, oh, we gotcha. You're not allowed to not be an expert in the thing that you like. You're not allowed to, oh, you're wearing a Nirvana shirt. Well, have you heard this B-side on the deluxe edition of their second album?
Oh,
Yes.
you haven't? Okay,
Oh.
well, stop liking them
Well, then,
now.
well, I don't like the way you look. It makes me think that I'm not a real fan because of how you look.
Something's wrong here, and it can't be me.
It's like, yeah, Candy Crush, you're not a gamer. Gamer means something special.
Gamer means off-putting.
Yeah, gamer means mean.
You're not being difficult at all.
Yeah.
But that does always still feel like shadowboxing a little bit now. Whenever somebody like harkens back to Gamergate mindset, it's like, or console wars. Or like, we still doing this? What the fuck? It's like those on those remote islands where like after 50 years they find an American like pilot who crashed in Japan in the jungle, and he's like, "We're still at war, right?"
I do think it'd be funny to ironically engage in like console war discourse. It'd just be like, spoken like a true Xbox head. You're like,
PC Master Race.
wow. And how many exclusives are there on the PS5 again? I thought so.
I look forward to playing Haze, the launch title for the PS3 on your Xbox.
Wow, that's how's that cell processor doing on that PS3?
Making fun of someone for liking Zelda because they must be on a GameCube.
Oh yeah.
No.
Let's play a little bit more of this clip. I'm curious. I actually don't know where it goes from here.
War, the world is like, you know, shambles, like everything.
There we go. Shake Shane's in.
And then you get in there and you're Link.
That's right.
And you're trying to save the world.
Ooh, I like that.
Save the world.
Yes. This is my appeal to Kylie Jenner. Finish Breath of the Wild. I cried at the end of Breath of the Wild. It's so good.
You cried because it was too scary.
Well, I don't like Gandorf. He's a big cat. What is he?
He's a sexy cat.
Okay, he's a sexy cat, and I don't like his red. I don't like he's ginger. So I don't.
Turn this off.
No, he's the only male Gerudo.
Seriously?
Yeah, what a lucky guy. Because I want a Gerudo over there.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
You did your best.
You want to take another?
I wanna. Don't tell me what I can't do.
Let's do the first one.
I'm John Locke from Lost as a Gerudo. Gerudo, don't tell me what I can't do.
Okay. It's niche, but I really like it. So it's you can basically choose between open audience with a okay one or a great one for just Jordan.
For just Jordan. No, never mind. I don't want to do that one.
Okay.
But anyway, shout out Billionaire. This is our Billionaire corner where we shout out our favorite billionaire.
Oh my God.
Billionaire of the week, Kylie Jenner. You get the crown this week,
It
Kylie.
is really easy to win us over and make us compromise all of our like political principles. To just be like, I'm sick of these billionaires are destroying the country, and then they just go like, I really like Ninja Gaiden too. Like, okay, yeah,
well,
no, bet. You're actually...
Well, that's exactly the thought process that Elon Musk. Oh, this is interesting. So it's so funny because Elon Musk is trying so hard through like subterfuge to be the gamer that he purports to be. Whereas I feel like Kylie Jenner, by effortlessly kind of being, hey, I'm new at this, but I'm really enjoying myself, that is much more endearing. Like we said, if Elon was just playing Path of Exile and was bad at it, it would be way more endearing than needing to be the best player in the world, except for you only play during Chinese daylight hours.
Weirdest thing.
Yeah, when you're in meetings.
Well, it's a misreading of culture in general. Him being like, he's looking at the reactionary, annoying Gamergate people, which I'm sure he indulges and indulged in at its height, and still thinks that's what the culture is. So he's going like, I need to appeal to these freaks, as opposed to, no, the culture is referencing a popular Switch game. That is actually what, if you want to win a good chunk of people, it's like a simple, accessible. Like,
also, Breath of the Wild now, 10-year-old game. Isn't that crazy?
Dude, you can drive.
No.
Not legally, but get in there.
It's a video game.
Oh, right. Sorry.
It can't even drive illegally.
No, Link is, because now he's 10. He's born.
His age is more of a interesting question.
Go ahead.
Look, the Zelda timeline. We don't have time for that.
We should ask her about it.
I mean,
by now she's probably so locked in. Got it all.
I hope she doesn't. I hope she continues. Continue?
What if there's like a photo of her playing it at a basketball game?
Well, that's the thing that made me feel like, oh, she's like earnestly engaged. Like, I feel like people earnestly engaging with stuff is good.
Yeah, you spend way too much of your life being told that, or not even being told, intuiting that that's in some way a bad idea. Like, you'll get caught for liking stuff, and then And I would say
Well,
for
because
different
people
reasons.
go, hey, you like wearing a brown shirt, freaking like brown shirt, like her,
And everyone's laughing.
and everyone points and laughs, and they go, whoa, what an observation about this guy.
I could
He does love
either-
a shirt that's brown.
No, either what just happened is I'm surrounded by a bunch of people doing toxic gender performance that just want to other someone with anything.
Yeah, who want to belong to their own group of haters because they think it's like it's like, well, if I'm pointing and laughing at you, then no one's pointing and laughing at me.
Yes. Now, none of us have any traits or principles because we're 10.
Yeah.
But
We can drive.
I'll just we can drive if we stack on top of each other and kind of you do the
Right.
pedals. But I do think that's like I mean, we can only speak fellas wise. But I feel like the moment I got cynical and skeptical and calcified in a lot of stupid mask behavior bullshit was when I went like, oh, I can't be seen being too into something. I can't be seen like caring about something too much because then they'll get me. The assumption that no one else is really into stuff.
No,
that
it's
they're
true.
concealing.
No one loves things. They actually are mostly engaged in getting got.
The thought
Okay.
that like Nintendo keeps making video games despite the fact that I'm the only one that plays them. Yeah, I play Zelda. No one else does. They're not losers. They made the game for me.
Anyway, the reason that I bring up all that was because I wanted to. But relatedly,
Explaining free will.
yeah. But I also gave all that basketball context earlier because the former mayor of New York, who we've talked about doing what seems to be a crypto scam. Since we last talked about Eric Adams, it was like he was doing some sort of New York coin.
That's right. Yeah.
And he was going, I'm in New York. And then he was going to be like, I'll be the mayor of Jerusalem or whatever.
Yeah. Another New Yorker with questionable intentions.
Oh,
That's
no.
a financier. Oh no! NYC token has dropped.
No, listen, it's up 5% today.
Phew. Okay.
So
Because this is where a lot of the money I was talking about, I ended up putting it around here. Because Mamdani is so popular, I thought maybe
that's
you'll...
no, but it's not his. It's not even associated with New York.
Of course, it's the,
They just take the name of
he's
something.
the mayor. You just said Eric.
He was the mayor.
Yes, exactly.
And now he's not.
And now it's very cheap, so we can sell it.
You're trying to buy the dip.
I bought it when it was good.
Right. And
Like
now
at the
you
top?
don't sell it now.
Because now it's bad, so we can trick people into buying it. But I bought
we
it
don't
when
want
it was really good because no one else was buying it.
Everyone is buying it. That's when the most people were buying it.
Right, of course.
And now no one's buying it, and that's why the price is so low.
Exactly. And we're
It
perfectly
appears-
in alignment.
I don't know about that. But anyway,
God, that does suck. That's so
yeah.
much.
Eric,
Why are they buying it?
Eric Adams, I just needed to show you this thing he tweeted after the New York Knicks swept the Cleveland Cavaliers and are going to the NBA Finals. No, actually, I have it bookmarked. I don't think I sent it to anybody.
Where is it? He's like at the Riyadh Comedy Festival or something right now. Where is Eric Adams at? Okay. I see. It's an AI
Let's see,
video.
they're about to do the High School Musical dance.
It's
So
an AI video of two brooms sweeping because
because the Knicks got a clean sweep.
Now, I have never seen... This is like a Darth Maul style broom with two ends to it. I'm not familiar with that method, I guess.
And I'm guessing
Then you clearly haven't broomed, dude.
Yeah, I haven't broomed two different floors at the same time.
he hired actors and like animated this himself.
Yeah, it's
or-
expensive.
No, this is all done with AI.
Oh wow.
The crazy thing is I can't tell. Where'd the other one go? It was killed. So this looks really good.
Yeah, I just thought this was so cool.
Oh my god, just universal. Do you think it's confusing to him? Like when this is the reply, do you think he's like, what's going on?
I don't think he reads the replies. Anyway, I just had that. I just needed that to be seen. And I can be done now. I can be done
Can I
with
see
what
the
I've
video one
done.
more time, please?
Okay.
Just because it is so good and convincing.
Okay.
Because I keep an eye on that left one. What happens to bro?
There's also like two identical men who come up on the side. Like there's two identical dudes on the left.
Twins much? I just don't. Am I going insane? There's not a kayak style double broom, right?
I don't think so. I think they just.
Never seen it in my
I
life.
think they just invented a broom character with their ingenious AI mind.
How did they do that?
I didn't even know he could 3D model. It's just
no. He can't do anything like that.
Jesus.
He typed in a few sentences.
I thought he was an expert crypto financier. I didn't know he had. He was mayor?
Wow. He's a retired NYPD captain.
It is a pretty busy bio. Oh, he should have like the funny last one. You know.
Oh yeah.
It was fluent in sarcasm.
He says he's a grocery store,
Jedi.
like on Instagram.
Oh yeah, that's right. Always epic.
That's what Mom Donnie did. He tweeted in my sanitation, "I'd like to report a sweep."
Oh, cute.
And then he retweeted Vivek Ramaswamy being a fan of the Cavs.
This gossip.
All right.
You're also not. You're like. You appreciate the Knicks, but you're not like a big Knicks fan.
Not a big Knicks fan, but I love to sweep. And
It's clean.
and I love this new broom I designed, so I figure I'd put it to use.
You wanted a broom that hurts you when you use it, that like pokes you in the face and
Right.
the arms.
Yeah.
It's kind of guerrilla marketing what you're doing.
I
You're
want
like,
a broom that could double as like a oar for a kayak.
Yeah, the really nice slow kayak ride.
So, have you ever wanted to find yourself a love like
Yeah.
Timmy and Kylie have?
Yes.
Nah, I'll pass.
Why do you ask that? Like I haven't been saying it every day.
Well, I mean, it's easy to date, right?
No.
Wait, what?
No, because sometimes a lot of the time, you know, it's like can't live with them, don't know where they are. Can't live with them because you don't live in
Can't
the
get
house.
fooled again.
Yeah, can't
Yeah.
Tennessee, maybe Texas too.
They won't let you in.
They won't let you in. You don't know them.
You're in the rain, staring through their window.
You can't live with them because it's not your apartment.
So there's something horrible happening on dating apps. It's been going on for a while, but I think people are reporting a lot recently about how bleak the dating landscape feels.
Hello. I feel like I've been screaming this from the rooftops, and finally they're listening.
I know. I'm like, get off your roof.
Hello.
It's not safe up there.
I can't hear what you're
But
yelling.
there's a fiddler and he can't get down.
Yeah, what's that about that he helped him down? What does he? How long is he on the roof in percentage of that show?
So
We got to keep going.
so there's so many AI scammers on dating apps now.
Yeah.
It feels even bleaker. Like if dating wasn't hard enough.
Yeah, I will say that this is so funny, and I think it affects some apps more than others. Like
Yes.
I kind of have narrowed down to really just using one app because all of them suck, and one of them sucks the least. But
You're
even
only on JDate, right?
I'm on Farmers Only.
Do
Okay.
they know?
No.
Why'd they let you
aspirational.
on there?
Aspirationally, I'm a farmer
Oh.
because I love to farm engagement.
Yeah.
You actually do farm a little bit on RuneScape, right?
Yeah, 99 farming, by the way.
Dude, that was such an aunt question. That was so aunt coded.
But it was true. It was true and it was accurate. And it is called farming.
You like that on your little game, right?
I do it. I do pharma.
Big
so
pharma.
I love pharma. Yeah. So I've had the experience of like matching with AI people, and I always can tell. I can always tell.
After a couple months of talking, send them some cash.
I sent
figure
him
it
just a
out.
little bit of thousands. No, but it is a thing where sometimes even real people are bad at like putting photos of themselves on the dating app, and I can't stress enough that like you need those. No, but I've certainly matched with accounts that I'm pretty sure are AI, and then I go, "Are you real?" And then they say yes, and then I don't reply any further, and then I get an email from Hinge that says, "You've recently interacted with an account that we've had to remove for impersonation." And then the annoying thing about that though is it like it seemingly affects like your algorithm and stuff. Like you lose like if I had my daily super like or something and I used that on a bot, I don't get it back. There's not like a refund.
But maybe the bot died happy.
Or the way that I imagine these things work is that like they feed you like a drip feed of I'm a guy, so it's like a very different experience. I do feel like they don't show you as much as they could, and then they stop showing you when you get a certain number of matches or something like that. And then I feel like if you get bot matches, then it's like, all right, our job is done.
Yeah, this guy's feeling it.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. Like, there's all these kind of secret behind the scene algorithm things that they do to keep you on the app.
Oh, for sure.
What is primarily the mission of? Because I think I still always default to like I'm a Nigerian prince and I
actually
diamond.
don't know. If I'm being completely honest,
So-
I haven't gotten far enough, and maybe this is what you'll explain to us today, Anastasia. I haven't gotten far enough with any of these bots to learn that. I've had a few instances of impersonators who I call them out on impersonating, and then they just go, you got me, and then they like unmatch.
Lock me up.
And I'm like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know.
But again, it's like
it
feels like it wastes my resources in the game of the dating app.
You're the paladin defending the wall, dude.
Yeah.
You're doing the necessary fighting.
And I've just I've just been on dating apps in like a low hum for a very long time. But
You've got your millennium eye.
yeah.
Like,
It's just so like nothing. I don't know. It's one of those things that like it makes you feel like you're doing something, but you probably aren't. I should probably just go meet people in real life, but I don't know how.
I feel like with the experiences that a lot of people have on dating apps, there could be just a resurgence of people being like, I'm going to try a lot harder to meet people in real life.
Yeah.
Because this sucks.
Yeah, it truly.
And I have seen in LA at least, and granted this is a big city, but I have seen a lot more like singles meetup kind of stuff, like more old fashioned ways
it's
of
tough because the vibes of those things are also kind of strange.
Yeah.
it's a certain self-selecting demo of, to say the very least, like maybe more socially active than the average
you
person.
need like third spaces, but then also I have this thing where I don't want to date in my friend group because it's like when things like don't work out, it like really makes things in my friend group weird, and that's all I have.
It's a conflict of interest.
Yeah, it's
it's
a conflict of interest. So that's the other thing. It's like hard to meet people who are not. That's the thing that dating apps are like theoretically good for, or like speed dating or whatever. Is like meeting people outside of your direct social network.
Yeah, that's sort of like, I feel like this sweet zone, right? Is like you find someone that you like who is like maybe of a friend or of a friend, or who is sort of like new to a social circle.
Yeah.
And
So
then
it's like if it blows up, it doesn't like ruin your fucking everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like everyone's already super close with this person.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah. It's a stone that I like wouldn't even like at this point consider turning over.
well, you could also do what I do, and that's just give in to the fact that you're going to die alone.
No.
But you purchased those boys. You have your harem.
I think
If you're talking about Batsmaru, Pachako, Hongyodan, the Happy Dambui boys, then yeah, I have purchased all of them.
Gojo.
the hell is going on?
These are like little Sanrio characters.
But no, okay, first of all, you're not going to die alone. Second of all, I'm going to
I'll
die
be
alone.
there.
yeah.
I'll be there laughing.
we'll be doing the Sad Boys podcast.
Oh my god, I will die during this podcast.
Waiting for you to
today.
do a segue and you'll just let this flies gathering around.
Have you ever?
Yeah, they're like, do we have a pulse? It's like, no, but I can. Hang on, I'm going to drift away from the topic and see if she wakes up.
I just want to shout out YouTuber Christoph because I just watched a video he put out about a month ago or like earlier this month.
It's just Christoph. It's just the
Yeah, it's just Christoph.
respect.
I'd never seen any of his videos before, so I'm sorry if he's awful. But I love it. I really liked this video.
You really always rolling the dice on if you haven't seen any other videos. It's
Well, right? You
understandable,
kind of have to, like, whenever someone's like, oh, like, who's your favorite musician or whatever? And I'm like, this person, but like, are they okay? Have they done anything bad?
Yeah,
The
you tap,
music.
you tap
Anything I should know
into
about?
this account, and his next video, his previous video is something very weird is happening at Anastasia's house.
No!
And you're like, no, wait, what?
What is it?
She has bought boys.
Yeah, she bought 4 boys, and they have funny names.
Bad Batsmaru, Pachako. No, okay. Christoph made this video about how something weird is happening at Tinder, on Tinder, and they like very they kind of like outline what you might experience, where it's like, okay, I'm going through these profiles. This is like a handsome man. But then when you are scrolling through the photos and you get to the last photo, it's a clearly AI image of not that person.
Yeah.
And often it's like a statue or a painting or something in pop culture, but with the face altered, like slight alteration.
Anime Homer.
So what I was going to
yes.
say is, so these dating apps tend to have verification processes where you like verify that you're like a real person, but they're gameable. So I imagine that you like, I think what can happen is you have to have a real photo of yourself in these things to stay verified, and then you can't remove that photo or else it like unverifies you. But sometimes when you like swipe on some of the apps, you just go and go and go, and then it's like it'll be like a e-girl or whatever. And
Yeah,
then
it's like a different
you
person
swipe to the
entirely.
end and it's like a dude named Derek at the end.
Right.
And it's like, hi, I'm Derek.
What's the...
And Tinder only about a month ago did like AI scan, or sorry, eye, like your eyeball, eye scan verification.
Oh, like
stuff.
AI. Adika.
I scan,
I.
you scan, we all scan.
For ice cream.
And then also it's a kind of an arms race thing, because if like we're on Android or something that's like, it's a little bit easier to like hook into the OS that's running the app. I have to imagine there's bot farms that can run these things on your computer and like an Android debug console or whatever, and feed the camera feed like either a video of someone
Right.
that's fake, because like now or like VTube.
Well,
like,
that's
like
the
fake
other
VTuber
thing is
stuff.
kind of in the same way that kids
deepfake.
were doing
Oh yeah,
the thing where they prove they're an adult
with a render, right?
with another
exactly.
yes
with a high resolution photo of Death Stranding.
Yes.
Norman Reedus.
Yes, exactly. So
It's gotta suck for him for the one dating profile he actually wants to use.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I have had like a bit of a trouble with dating apps because I get banned a lot, despite verifying myself, because people see me and then report me as impersonating someone.
They just
assume that I wouldn't be on a dating app. And
farmers
I'm like,
only.
well, I mean, this is maybe I probably shouldn't.
They got me on that one.
Yeah, I'm like, I should probably go meet somebody in real life. But so it's a thing where I've had to like appeal to like get my account back and stuff.
Because your last photo is like, it's like Marge, but she's smoking weed.
Yeah, it's it's my Uber driver named Javier. And I was like, our names are pretty close.
It's the same-ish guy.
So
There's got to be people doing this ironically also now. Like a real jokester having their last
Yeah.
photo be like, I'm a robot cat. A bored ape.
in Christoph's video, they kind of get to the why of all of it. And it's kind of a traditional like romance scam.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like,
oh yeah,
they want to just
sense.
keep you on the app, chatting in text, like no video chats or anything like that.
Yeah.
And they get you to kind of like love bomb you a little bit, and
Right.
then like try to get you to like give them money for a plane ticket or something.
And the question is always like, who would be dumb enough? But it's like, if you cast a wide enough net, then you will have some people get caught up in that, and it only takes a few.
Yeah, like
Well,
who
also
would
it's
fall
like-
for that? Like, well, not most people.
Yeah.
I
But the
think it's
revenue of
very
each.
naive to say it's dumb too to fall for that. I think they often catch people in very vulnerable situations.
Absolutely.
Is what it is.
Absolutely.
It's like if you're extremely depressed, extremely lonely, like, you know, or maybe you live in a place where there's
I should
not a lot of
text her.
people or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I relate to this. I'm lucky that I don't kind of associate my self-worth with my like success on a dating app. But when I was younger, it certainly like hurt my feelings that I didn't get as many matches as I thought I should, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just not real life. it's just not real life, and that's a thing people have to remember about.
You might also not like have the, let's say you might not have a head, which
Yeah,
could
I
really
might not have the face for it, or like the bod or the sexiness.
But like, if I don't know, if you're like 5 years younger than us or something, like you really could. We were like right on the parallel of, or rather, on the precipice of this being the normal way to do it.
Yeah, and there definitely there was a different light to dating apps when they first came out. It was like, oh, this is interesting. Yes. It's fun.
We got to kind of be around the emergence of it and get to go like, okay, so this isn't the normal way, but this adds something to the palette, as opposed to like growing up and being like, well, this is what dating is.
Because the dating apps are like the second wave, because the first wave was like, OkCupid, Plenty of Fish, like those websites, and then like moving on to the phone, and then having because I think Match Group still owns like a bunch of these things, but most of the ones they own suck. Like Tinder, I think, might be owned by Match Group now, but they're the OkCupid people.
Also, I think like millennials, like you're saying, Jordan, were the ones that really like didn't have another way of dating. Really, like this was the older millennials, normalized app dating or website dating, or even like dating people on MySpace or whatever. And then it became so normalized that people didn't know another way. And then you had the pandemic and stuff. So it's like, you really can't meet people. But now I think it's like, people are like, I need to learn how to date outside of apps, because like we just don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Also,
it's like an atrophied skill, or like a skill that never developed.
And lockdown, I was like 17 through 20 for lockdown. They're like,
Oh,
no, you missed the bit.
Yes.
You missed the crash course years. Like this is where you actually are supposed to fuck up so bad, and then like adapt maybe a little bit. And then 10 years go by and you are still adapting. It's also the survivorship bias thing of like, there's never been a period in time where this was a simple thing that most people are doing seamlessly. It's just that there was no optics on the people around you. And it's like, everyone that isn't dating has some baggage to get over, and everyone that is dating, it's not that they just got married to the first person they ever met at school that was attracted to them. It's that there's something to them. They got their shit together, you know what I mean? Because nobody's going to present willingly the like, I suck at dating and it's hard.
I'm just reading the Wikipedia on Match Group right now. So one, Hinge and Tinder are both owned by Match Group, and Match Group is kind of doing a monopoly thing where they're just like acquiring every single app in the space. They own basically all of the dating apps except for Bumble, and then I'm sure they've made offers to try and buy Bumble. I will say also, wow, there are a lot of sexual assault allegations and lawsuits in the just Wikipedia page for Match Group. Just like
within the company itself.
Just listed in the history of the company. Like,
wow.
Oh my Lord.
It's kind of crazy. But the other thing is that, and I think this is important, the CEO of Match Group is the former CEO of Zynga.
Oh! Wow. It's Skinnerbox gamified.
Exactly, dude. It's Skinnerbox gamified.
It's built like it's supposed to drip feed you.
Like,
Zynga, for people who don't know, addictive mobile games primarily, including Candy Crush, I believe.
Maybe not currently anymore. Current CEO of Match Group used to be on the board of Palantir.
Who wasn't? I feel like they had such a rotation. Like 50% of the time I find out about a billionaire ghoul, they at some point worked for Palantir.
Match Group is they're acquiring dating apps faster than I can learn that they exist. In April 2026, last month, Match Group announced a $100 million minority investment in the gay dating app Sniffies.
Sniffies?
Have you heard of Sniffies? Anyone?
For dogs or something?
There you go. They're everywhere. They just it's just monopoly.
Oh my God.
Right. They own all of these. Do you remember? So we had a friend that worked at Grindr.
Yes.
And then there was a big issue because Grindr was like owned by China.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had to like it was like a super weird, like they had to like divest from China or something. Like there was I can't even remember what the thing was. And it's not like China bad, but it was like the American government was doing some weird stuff. Oh, J people meet. Is that different than J date?
Seems like there's a lot of people meet. Divorced people meet.
Latino people
Democratic people meet.
LDS planet.
Oh, Mormon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
But Democratic people meet. That's so funny.
I think I saw it as well.
Hold on. Baby boomer. No, Jacob,
Baby
stay where you
boomer.
were. Baby. Scroll up somewhere. Baby boomer people meet. Black Christian people meet. Black people meet. Black professional people meet.
Normal black people, but
Oh
also
my God, what is going on, dude? It's like they own everything.
delightful. That's eerie.
How do they get to buy literally? And it's like Bumble's not doing well. Bumble was in the news because they're replacing swiping with an AI system that matches people.
The dating landscape is so bleak because that list of websites and apps all owned by the same company, and that company is just trying to make money, obviously.
It's no longer like a conspiracy theory to be like, well, they just want to
keep me on.
But because it's the Skinner box thing. It's like,
Yes.
I want to give you a drip feed of like reward so that you feel like this is just rewarding enough to continue using.
We want charming animations, decent sound effects, nice haptics on the app. Big one. It's very easy to lock people into a loop because like phones rule in people's brain. Like if they're very easy to make them feel good.
I'm really curious if they stop the swiping.
Swiping, no swiping. Me when I'm Dora. Continue.
She should just kill him. She should just shoot him, right?
She's a child.
Look, he
she's
actually
not
has a good heart.
She's not
if
still
you
a
get
child
to
for like
know
20
it.
years.
Well, look, she can't have a gun, but she could drive a car.
Yeah, she just kick him. That final episode of Dora the Explorer where she kicks Swiper to death, I found it strange.
I think that the taking away the swiping and having these like AI matches takes away some of the addictive behavior of the app.
Yeah, that is a big jump.
Yeah,
feel
I
like.
think that like Hinge when it first came out was like it was considered or they had the tagline that was like designed to be deleted, but that like cannot possibly be true, especially anymore because everyone who makes these apps they just want to. No one's that passionate about relationships. They just want to exit a company and make a billion dollars.
Totally.
Yeah, it's weird how I feel like a lot of dating app branding worked very, very hard to be like, yes, the internet's a horrible monster place. Yes, most companies are super, super cynical and just trying to get you. But look, it's dating. We would never do something like that.
We're so different.
Love isn't evil. We would never manipulate you like that.
Isn't evil.
There's a New York Times, I'm guessing this is.
Yeah, this is New York Times at the Bumble thing. Is this like
The failing New York Times?
this is framed in a way that makes me think it's paid.
Kelsey Wonderland, a licensed therapist and dating coach in Nashville. Okay, so not from Bumble.
Who was that?
People don't really see each other as real humans on the app, she said.
Well, yeah.
Swiping was great for people at first, but over time, what I hear from a lot of people is that it's inundating,
Yeah.
and it just creates this sense of disposability, which I agree. But why would the app
Kind of by
care about
nature of
that?
the.
Well, this is coming from a therapist standpoint who's
Right.
not like a business analyst. They're probably not thinking about the kind of wider economic.
A lot of these companies think that AI is going to save their apps or change the dating experience.
Is this potentially something to do with the fact that they are the one that isn't owned, and they're like, we have to do something. We need to separate ourselves.
The business is not booming
Yeah.
for Bumble, and it hasn't been for a while.
They kind of pulled away from the whole core concept, right?
Well, the core concept was like, unfortunately, like enticing or seemed interesting, but the societal behavior patterns don't match like what the premise of the
because it
app
was like women.
because it's like women like messaging first,
Yeah.
but
which limits you to a heteronormative
yeah.
only audience, which is cutting out like a huge portion.
But,
obviously.
and then also just that like their users have an expectation that they are not meeting en masse just because of like how I remember reading something about this. It's like the like super reductive thing is like women just don't want to message, but I think it's more I mean, my understanding, I should go back and find like the thing I was reading, but I think it's more just like in very large numbers, people behave the way that they have always behaved on average. And so like that doesn't, so you have to shift like inertia moving in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And so
it's always like a great feature pitch, but turned into its own app. As opposed to like, this could be an interesting utility.
I mean, it's a great pitch for me. I don't want to send, but then it doesn't work. Yeah. Is the issue.
Women have to message first.
It's like being like, I have a car and it runs on air. Okay, awesome. So, well, it doesn't move.
It doesn't work. Like, you know, it's like.
But maybe the thing is, I always like, though I always am like, oh, am I just complaining? Like, is it just like a get good scenario? Like, am I just low elo hell? And like, cause I mean, probably, but I think that we kind of already know from the studies, it's like most of the matches are in like the top percentages, and it's like a hoarding of all of it's like winner take all kind of.
Yeah. It's always like a mythology of dating is kind of required to give any conversations about dating validity. It's like when people talk about like the good old days with a Coca-Cola ad and the family and the 2.5 kids and they have a little fence, and it's like, no, this is just from commercials. This was never a real thing.
No.
And like the dating thing is just what we saw in like Seinfeld. Like this era of traditional dating, I personally believe never existed. I think it's just a case of like, yeah, of course, all of the stories we have from people in older generations are of their dating experience, because the other ones died.
Well, I think it's like,
didn't have any children.
I feel like my perspective is, in order for it to have existed, I do think it existed, but it existed with horrible things that we needed to weed out of our society. You know what I mean? Like, and that we still need to weed out of our society. And so it's not like, like you cannot simply go back to, there was no, it's like a whack-a-mole thing. It's like, in order to go back to that other stuff, you would have this other stuff that you actually wouldn't agree to if you saw it in a list.
Yeah, it's like,
what do you mean, like marrying your high school sweetheart? Or
fewer people
like
got divorced when no fault divorce wasn't allowed.
Oh yeah,
just like women not having rights, and like a lot of that stuff being based on women not having rights, and men being it's like, in order to get loans, in order to do whatever,
you have to be married.
You have to be married. You have to get permission from your spouse and stuff,
or your father.
Or
so
your
it's
father,
like a man,
right? Because like, you're the woman, you're the property, you're being given away. Not you, but you know what I mean. It's like the woman.
Don't give me away.
Go long.
We were gonna give you the Doughboys.
No, just kidding. I love them.
So it's like, I think that it's like Make America Great Again. It's like, okay, when was America great?
Yeah, what are you referencing?
You know, it's like, what are you referencing?
What are we now missing?
Well, also, I think people are like, people, used to have these long marriages and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, a lot of people felt trapped in those marriages. That's
exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I mean. It's just that in order to go back to that time where there wasn't divorce, it's like when you hear people, old-fashioned people, or even people today, but they have this very old school mindset. Have you heard those terms where they're like, the word divorce doesn't exist in my family, or shit like that? It's like, okay, horrifying.
Scary.
Yeah. Like, and so I think it's that. It's that people, like, yes, you can talk about the illusion of choice that dating apps give us and make people more picky. I'm definitely guilty of this, because you feel like the promise that you could find your perfect whatever, and so then you keep like searching for that instead of like settling or whatever. But I think the reality is just that I do like to imagine, and maybe this is the optimist in me, that we are growing positively as a society, and we are calling out things that we are very, very slowly, if not dismantling, acknowledging some of the existing like power structures that have ruled our lives. And so it's not like there was never a golden age, there was never anything. It's like, and we do have worse stuff now, but it's not like the fault is like capitalism, corporate consolidation.
Yeah, it's like very institutional.
Yeah, it's structural.
I feel like a lot of people, you will talk about like the experience of relationships or
their cultural position or changes in culture and society in the same respect that like I would talk about American high school. It's like I have never been to and do not ever intend to step foot in an American high school.
God, I hope not.
Especially now, pretty fucking weird. But I have an image in my head from movies and TV.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll ever have it from. Yeah. But if I've, like, I don't know, I had a kid and they were like in middle school and they were nervous about high school, I'm not going to talk about American high school as though I was there. I can go like, well, I kind of know this thing and that thing. And like people appealing to like Don Draper, him and his wife, the dynamic, people not having seen the show and the fact that they get divorced, but Don Draper, they had a real dynamic. That's what marriage used to really be like. I'm like, oh, you're just LARPing.
Yeah.
You've got this little idea. It's like Lord of the Rings to you. It's like back in the day, we used to have
feel
hobbits.
like back in the day, with a lot of things, it's just like people who were having power imposed on them used to just stay quiet.
Yeah, what? Because they must have been happy.
And then there weren't problems, and that meant that they were happy.
Yeah, backwards engineering it, being like, what the fuck? What are all these crops doing here? We used to just have seeds. I wouldn't have to do any work getting all the crops.
I did hear someone who I like, a person I like.
Thank you.
She's about my age, maybe like a couple years older. She said maybe we were happier when we had stricter gender roles. And I was like, wait, what? And she was like, yeah, I think that's maybe why women are so unhappy now. And I was like, what are you listening to these days? And sure enough, there was a podcast where someone was saying the reason why women are so unhappy these days is because they used to be happier in stricter gender roles. And I'm like, and I just said, that's not true. Like, there's no way I would have been happy.
It's also like, we know they weren't because they fought very hard again. It's like we didn't just as a society go, we should stop subjugating women.
Let's just see what happens.
Yeah,
and then like,
give it a try.
No.
I'm kind of bored of how it is now.
I have all
this control.
Why do these damn black people keep complaining about their living conditions? They should just like them silently.
Oh yeah, I forgot that people do also have that opinion.
Constantly,
yeah.
And because I think it comes from if you have no actual like first person conception of what silently suffering is, like if you think that, because really if you grow up in any kind of position of privilege and then you think about that type of privilege, I'll do cis male privilege, right? I don't ever get to have fun, what I perceive as fun, griping about it, because it's easy. It's the easiest starter deck. But as a result, I then say, okay, well, if I was not a cis male, I'm going to just like, when people talk about the negative experiences they can experience as a result of not being a cis guy, I'm going to actively empathize. Sympathize. I can't empathize. But what the closest I could do, I don't know, for now is, well, I'm not white, and so I'm going to take a couple pieces of that and be like, how does that make me feel? What's the chemicals that go through my brain? Okay, I'm just going to kind of extrapolate that out and be like, well, that doesn't feel good. I'm just going to think that also, not to a more or less degree, just that also doesn't feel good. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because I don't have that. But I think if you've insulated yourself or refused to engage with whatever privilege you do or don't have, you can only think of people complaining the same way you do when you complain about your food being cold when it comes out.
Right.
And you're like, yeah, it feels kind of good to complain because you get to be annoyed at people and like let out your frustration and resentment. And so then that all just leads to, well, why are women complaining? It must be because it's fun. I can't see why else they'd be doing it. It must be fun. That's all it could be. Why are women upset about dating? They don't date me. I'm the one suffering. The women must be pretending to like video games to fuck with me.
It becomes transparent, like when you look at issues that people are having in their lives, how the like snake oil salesmen of our time come in and go, I have a simple solution.
Yeah.
What if we just stopped talking about it?
What if you gave me all your rights?
So, like to that end, you know, everything we've been talking about is like very bleak and frustrating for anyone who is looking to, you know, find someone.
Yeah.
And
Bye.
but
ending episode.
no, but I was gonna say, on the positive side, like I've seen a lot of people joining run clubs or biking clubs or even like board game nights and stuff like that.
Hobbies.
And I do think that is still to this day is like it feels old fashioned, but I just really think that is a great way to meet someone who's not in your friend group. You just kind of.
I agree.
I know you saw Obsession.
I did.
Which is kind of about frustrations in dating or liking someone who doesn't like you back or whatever. And like brings up.
Yeah, I saw that movie and I was like, this is me. Everything that's happening right now.
I really.
That's how people are going to feel about conflict of interest.
I don't want to like give too much away about that movie, but I just want to say that you could look at it one way from the sort of like lonely male perspective where it's like, okay, this is very toxic and blah, blah, blah. And you could look at it the other way is kind of the 1950s housewives trapped in a relationship they can't get out of kind of way. It was interesting.
I think I am officially tired of hearing about the male loneliness epidemic. Not in the sense that there's not some validity to that kind of conversation, but I think it, in my opinion, implicit, and I've used it and I've referenced it and I've endorsed the conversation around it, but I think we're now at a point where as a reference, I think has like some exclusionary implications that insincere people can kind of latch on, where it's like, it's a classic, you like pancakes, so you hate waffles.
Yeah.
Like, the male loneliness epidemic. And then someone's like, yeah, women are struggling. Like, that's not what it's called.
Yeah,
we have
don't
our
you think
one.
it's just the loneliness epidemic?
But
yeah, I think it's just two like differently shaped sides of the same problem that people don't see them as the same, but they fit together perfectly.
It's always difficult grouping guys are this way and girls are this way.
Yeah.
But it is like on a grand scale, a lot of times guys tend to handle loneliness different than women do. And
It's like
just
squeaky
leads to a weird
wheel.
outcome.
Also, if we are products of our environments and influences, then our identities have impacted those experiences, and thus we have different ones.
I think it's almost like a phrasing thing where I don't know if this is going to make any sense. I'm just going to it's the male loneliness epidemic versus male loneliness epidemic.
Yes.
That's
The epidemic isn't that men are lonely because everyone's lonely. The epidemic is how men are handling loneliness.
Yeah, it's like they're the
It's the
Which is pretty poorly.
They're not handling it well.
It is a squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of, because like I do think like they are scaring people. They're alarming, and
Not
that's
all,
why.
no, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But and it's like the queer lonely people, the trans lonely people.
Yeah.
They exist.
go off on them.
They're just not as
in a good
loud about it.
They don't have an epidemic named after them, so get good. No, just kidding.
Nor I think is there an expectation of like it being treated, if that makes sense. It's like
Also, it does kind of, I don't want to be too reductive, because I also, we're all experiencing the same thing in different ways, and we need to have sympathy for what other people may be going through, even though you cannot identify, because you don't identify with their problems because you're different. You just have a different type, you have a different set of problems.
Yeah.
But it's so much like, my house is on fire. Well, my house is underwater. And it's like, well,
shit.
All right, well, these are both, we should probably handle both of these.
Let's use the water to put out the fire.
Yeah. And that's a little bit where I'm going with that, is that like, obviously it's more profitable to pit groups against one another, but the answer is probably involves a form of collaboration in some way.
Because that's not, I mean, it's a cliche, but like neither party are the enemy by default. It's elective.
Yeah.
You are saying like, actually, Xbox is the best. You're like, why are you
Better than
fighting?
the rest?
Zelda,
Sega
it's the
does what
divine beast.
Nintendo don't.
Yeah, that's true. They make a completely different game.
Yeah, they
and vice versa, really.
They stopped making consoles.
Yeah,
That's what they did.
Yeah, what Nintendo don't is remain.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think this speaks to like a lot of people's experiences, and the answer is we're just in a moment, and it's like we aren't gonna. I feel like we often find ourselves talking about these problems that we can't really solve it, but hopefully it's like relatable to know that other people are experiencing the problems that you are, and don't necessarily have like a doomer take on it. Like, because I mean, I haven't had the best luck in all of this stuff, but I don't get too down about it because there are things I can do that I'm not doing, which is like join a engage in a hobby or do whatever, and I am doing that, and I try to remind myself that I am, even though I'm not doing like the maximal amount of things, I am like doing stuff that could lead to me like meeting somebody who I vibe with at some time, somewhere, some way, somehow, I hope. But
it's like so easy to always be the exception to the rule internally, right? There's all these other people doing X or Y thing or living in X or Y place or something. It's like, yeah, but most aren't. Like, yeah, actually, most aren't doing it. It's just,
yeah. I mean, it's like Haley Williams said on the 2009 Paramore song, "The Only Exception." I got a tight grip on reality, but I can't let go of what's in front of me here. I don't know what she was talking about. But
what the hell she was banging on about? Conflict of interest or something.
Yeah, but that's something she said. And the song was called "The Only Exception." So
shout out Haley Williams.
Shout out Haley Williams.
On that note,
gosh, if you're looking,
shout out to Haley Williams.
In fact, if you even want to,
if you're looking for love, I'm your guy. No, just kidding.
He would be willing. He charitably would be willing to go on a date with you.
Okay, relax. Yes, I would. We are going to be heading over to Sad Boyz Nightz on patreon.com/sadboys, where for the low price of $5, you get access to over 100 episodes of exclusive Patreon content. Basically this, but more of it. And today, wow. I mean,
I'm learning a term.
Yeah, Jordan's going to learn about catching print.
Don't know what it is? I was busy playing Slay the Spire 2.
Yeah.
Thank you retroactively to everybody that tuned into the live stream we just had. We're recording this before that happened. So maybe, what if we exploded and we never ended up doing it? It'd be funny.
Well, you can catch the VOD of that explosion.
Only for a limited time.
Only for the next 7 days?
Yeah, so if you missed the live show yesterday, it will be available at live.sadboyzpod.com for 6 more days as of now.
That's right.
Along with the t-shirt?
Yes, I do believe you can still get the t-shirt.
US only, unfortunately. That's a last minute issue led to that. We're going to figure something out in the future, but
there might be certain orange men.
Yeah, get him.
Oompa Loompas.
Go off.
Oh my god, the
fucking,
who's the guy? Fucking Dr. Seuss book.
Oh,
with the orange thing.
Lorax.
Oh, the
Lorax.
Oh, he's orange.
Sorry,
I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
I always think he's green because he speaks for the trees. You know what I mean?
I always think of green as what the eggs and ham are colored.
Yeah, I don't like those either.
Green, just the eggs.
I don't like
the
green.
Ham green.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't like green eggs.
There's something to be said about grammar. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we end every episode of Sad Boys with a particular phrase.
We don't like
green eggs and ham.
Boom.
I got that.
Gucci girl, how you doing? How you moving, girl? Moving, girl. How's your day looking? That future girl, yeah, we on now. Take my money, go away, all you want it. Get you rich from me.